We are previewing Week 7 in the NFL here at SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We're talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Of course, Joe Duffy always takes the games that I ask him to take every week, which wind up usually being the toughest ones. Here we have another one, Houston at Miami. Now, Joe Duffy, last week, both Houston and Miami were two of my favorite plays. I talked about them in my weekly wrap-up. I said that I was going to bet both of them and like both of them. And I was all ready to bet them again the next week as well, but they happen to be playing each other. So I'm not exactly sure what to do here. Obviously, Houston, a flawed team, but I think they're better, as I said last week, with Hoyer at quarterback and DeAndre Hopkins, obviously awesome at wide receiver. Miami obviously played out of their minds last week. They're clearly getting a boost from the coaching change. Now they're going up against each other, so I'm not sure I want to bet against either of these teams. Miami's a 4 or 4.5 point home favorite. Total is 44.5, which has gotten bet up, interestingly, from the opener of 43. What do you have to say about this game, Joe?
Well, Peter, I had Miami myself. In fact, that was a very big play for me last week. Look, both of these teams made major changes last week. And we discussed, I told you that Brian Hoyer was the best quarterback on Miami when we did these, on Houston, that is, when we did these videos last week. Of course, the Finns hired a new head coach, and I said that the new coach theory usually works very short term. But what happened is, and it's not a coincidence, when these teams made major changes, both of them coming off of their best offensive effort of the year. They scored 38 points last week after averaging 16 under Philbin. Hoyer, they did much better with Hoyer under Mallet. They got 31 points after averaging 19.4 entering that game. Hoyer, very efficient, 24 out of 36. Obviously, Arian Foster on the stat sheet has not made a big difference so far, but what's very important is he does keep the defense honest. Second of all, look, you can understand that he would be a little bit rusty. He's now got 45 carries under his belt. You still have to defend against him, so it's not like, you got to defend against both the run and the pass. And more importantly, I think that Foster, now that he's got 45 carries under his belt, he should get rid of that rust, and I think there's a very good situation for a breakout game. Ryan Tannehill, all 7 of his interceptions, were in the last 3 games, but he is playing much better, and I think especially since he got that wake-up call where he's called out by his teammates for making fun of the practice squad and all this other stuff. And look, he gets the new beginning. I do think that the 2 changes that were made by each team, positive to the offensive side of the ball, and I expect for both of these teams to open it up and for this to be a high-scoring game. So the over would be the free play for the purposes of this video.
Oh, yeah, so you're going to go official with it. Right now the total is 44.5. It has taken a significant bet up market-wide from the opener of 43. So obviously that is the market move. You want to go official with it? Over 44.5, Joe?
Yeah, I will go official because of the line move. I probably will not have it as a premium pick, but I think that the Sharps, look, they're looking at the same stuff I am, and they were a little bit more confident in betting it early. But yeah, we'll go officially with the over.
Okay, and this one might also get bet up even higher by kickoff. Would not at all be surprised to see it at 45.5 by kickoff if the betting action continues to go as it has. Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com going official with the over, currently 44.5. Joe Duffy, tell us about your website, OffshoreInsiders.com.
Well, everyone who gives a flying you-know-what about long-term profit, they're already permanent clients of mine, so maybe I shouldn't preach that. If you're just looking for someone who's hot, coming off a weekend in which we swept all of our games of the year, conference games of the year, etc., in both college and the NFL, and we already have a couple up for this weekend. Why don't you visit OffshoreInsiders.com, because I'm constantly working around the clock with my metrics, but visit OffshoreInsiders.com for the exact details of what we got.
Thanks, Joe.